Well, I am so excited to have Alisa Childers with us on the 1 Minute Apologist. We are at CIA Cross-Examine with Frank Turek in the ministry here, and she has been brought on our team faculty, and we're just so thrilled to see what God's doing in her life. Some of you might remember her name as the Dove Award-winning artist for Zoe, or maybe some of you Greek fanatics will say Zoe girl. And it's good to have you on the program. Just so excited that we're doing ministry together here and equipping future apologists.
Well, I'm glad to be here. And you know, the 1 Minute Apologist was one of the resources I used when I first started studying apologetics. So it's exciting to be here.
See, we love that, the little plug right there. Well, we're going to be asking you a series of questions. And the first one I'd like to ask you is the atonement cosmic child abuse?
This is an objection that I come across a lot in my work with progressive Christianity. And the idea is that to think of the atonement as God requiring the blood sacrifice of his son Jesus, well, doesn't that make him some kind of cosmic abuser of his own son? And so I think that to untangle this a little bit, we need to think about a couple things. The first thing would be that sometimes there's a misunderstanding of what we mean when we talk about the wrath of God. And I think the reason that misunderstanding is so prevalent is a lot of people have had abusive fathers. And so they're conflating the holy and just and controlled wrath of God for sin with the abusive and petty and impatient and sinful wrath of their own fathers. And so they apply that to God and think, well, that couldn't be. But when we talk about the wrath of God, the Bible uses the metaphor of a cup, that it's a cup that Jesus drank for us. And the reason the wrath of God is something we can actually be thankful for is because if God doesn't have wrath for sin, if he doesn't punish sin and bring justice to that, then when we're all together in the new heaven and the new earth, then it'll just be another version of hell if sin is in that world. But the new heavens and new earth is really a way for God to quarantine those who have put their trust in him away from all of the evil and the suffering and oppression of the world forever. And so in this way, Christianity doesn't just give us an answer to the problem of suffering and evil, but we have a God who actually became the answer himself, which leads us to the second misunderstanding with this objection, which is that somehow Jesus was this hapless victim that was just standing by being tortured against his will, when in reality, because we know that Jesus is God, again, God put on flesh, stepped into creation to experience that and take that punishment upon himself. And I think for those of us that really know the depth of our own sin, this becomes really, really good news. And we know that Jesus willingly laid his life down. It's why he came. And that's why we find so much joy in the gospel.